Hey everybody and welcome. We are going to be doing a cryptocurrency check on various exchanges. We'll be grabbing a couple APIs, so we're going to be looking at this ThorSwap and Pancake Swap Exchange. We're going to ping those APIs, and those are going to be the inputs. We're going to run an algorithm. So in this case, we're just going to find the difference in the price. And then the output of this is going to be sending it to a Slack channel. So yeah, basically you could go look through and see the variances throughout the day. You're just running this on like a for loop throughout your day, uh, which is kind of cool to see. You can line it up. You could also put it into a database or some type of CSV, but in this case, using Slack because it's kind of fun. So yeah, let's take a look what we have in the script. So I'm doing all this in Python, and what we'll need in Python are these packages. So let's look. We're going to need this request package. So that's to grab the API data. So we're literally going to go to a spot on the internet and grab it. We're going to load that data with JSON, JSON.loads, and then we're going to run a loop that runs every 2 seconds. So for that, we're going to use time.sleep. And then, yeah, just show how to grab prices from the CoinGecko API, which is a really nice tool, and I think just a really good company. And then, yeah, these are just a couple Slack packages. So in these packages, we're just going to take a look at how to ping this channel that I just created with a message. So, yeah, so to start, let's take a look at this CoinGecko stuff. So let's load all our packages, already done so. But you'll see, we're in not a bit ago, see the difference now, so you'll see it's different price. So this will actually get you the most current price from the CoinGecko API. And this is for Ethereum. So Ethereum is a major cryptocurrency and a lot of blockchains are built on it. The thing about Ethereum is that anything that happens on the blockchain in terms of gas, so you want to do anything and move things on the blockchain, it is secure because there are gas fees, right? You just can't do anything. And as it kind of increases the popularity of Ethereum, all the calculations in order for gas are based on the price of Ethereum. So it's good and bad. So I personally have invested a decent amount in Ethereum, so that's good. So I bought it like $1,800, and now it's 4,400. But in order for things to happen on the blockchain, it's computationally works for me because anything I do that costs gas is actually a lot of times not worth it if the price is this high because it was built. A lot of the more lucrative stuff is when the price is lower. So, yep, that's long-winded and could talk about that just for the entire time, but just get to the code. So now I'm setting up a Slack client. So in this case, I already put in my token here. So I cheated. I put in my token and I'm connected to Slack. Essentially, you'll just make a Slack account, you'll get an API token, and you'll pop it in here. So we're connected to Slack, and now we want to make a function in order to ping the Slack channel. So you'll see demo. I set up a demo channel here in Slack. I'm going to call my username PythonBot, and then I'm going to feed it an argument into the function for the actual chat, what I want it to say. And we'll define that once we find the difference in cryptocurrencies on the different exchanges. Cool. Okay, so now we have that. And so now we want to go to an exchange. An exchange is essentially a supermarket, right? So an exchange is selling a certain good, in this case, a currency, right? So we're going to be looking at Bitcoin Cash. I have a little bit of it. I think like it's a decent one and fairly stable. So I'm going to go look at the supermarket, this ThorSwap supermarket. So you'll see I have the base URL. I have essentially you'll get a pool. And so that's just going to be a JSON request, and it's got a bunch of different metrics, and I'll show you the different things that it'll provide. So I'm going to build a function. I'm going to feed it this Bitcoin Cash down here, and we're just going to concatenate the API call essentially. And once we have that concatenated, I'm going to go and get that API, and then I'm going to load from the JSON. Then I'm going to specifically look for the asset price here. And based on the argument, so if I say data type is JSON, I'll return the entire JSON so you can actually see what the entire pool gives you. If not, as you can see, I just subset the object. I think it's a dictionary. I subset the object and I just get the specific price, so that'll be the second argument that you see here. So let's actually run this. Cool. Let's do this and make sure both prints here. Cool. Okay, so you saw the first one was the price, so I ended on that. And then all the prices is grabbing this particular value. And so that's useful if you are writing it into a function and you just want the specific one. But I did want to note that there are some really good metrics in here. And that's where you can start, when you can layer these applications and APIs on top of each other and get some of these proprietary metrics. So Rune is actually Thor's native coin. You can build indexes and maybe be on top of the game in terms of like a bigger opportunity. So just wanted to mention that there are kind of two approaches. But if we just run price again, it'll just grab the current price. Right? So that, if we change it to JSON, yeah. Okay, cool. We have that covered. And it's kind of a nice example of how you can just change exactly what you wanted to return with if else's. So I typically use this a lot. Cool. So now let's check Pancake Swap. You have to grab the token ID. So all you have to do is say BCH token ID. It'll take you to Etherscan, and then you can grab this contract address. So that's going to be the input that we're going to be looking at, and this is for Bitcoin Cash. So the base API for Pancake Swap is this, the V2. I think V3 might be coming out soon. But basically, we're going to concatenate the coin, and I know this one does. So if you actually look at what we're going to do here. So you'll see this is what we want, Bitcoin Cash and the price. So all we're doing is we are going to that address that I just popped in there. We're going to load it from JSON. I'm going to get the data and price, and I'm going to return it as a float. Cool. So that right? Great. Okay, so now we have both prices. So that's good. So now let's actually take those prices in the functions that we built. And then let's ping the Slack channel, right? So I set up a timer. So this is just a random interval. I just chose 11. And I did this before I set up the Slack channel, but you'll see I'll print a different message. So what we're doing here is we're going to set the ThorSwap price. We're going to make it a float from this. So we're going to take that, and we are going to grab the Pancake Swap price as well. We're going to find the absolute value, so just the difference. I don't care if it's positive or negative. I just kind of want to see the delta. And then we're going to say the difference is many dollars. I put it into a string so it's legible in a sentence. And then if you can remember from the function that we built, I'm putting the Slack chat into the Slack trigger. So I'm taking the Slack verbiage and I'm popping it in there. I'm going to print that it's sent, and then I'm going to wait 2 seconds. And I would typically do it in a minute or 5 minutes, but just with this example, we can just press go and you'll kind of get the point. So let's actually run this. So we'll wait 2 seconds and execute. So right now there's actually a fairly large spread. So $13, and I believe the price is, that's not bad. But what's cool is you'll see it'll do this 11 times. So we'll have 11 notifications into the system, and you can see there is a slight variance at the end here. Let's see if there's any type of major drop off. We are checking every 2 seconds. So you wouldn't assume so. Cool. So we sent 11 messages, right? There are slight variances. And that's where if you actually do it through longer durations, it's probably a um, better sign. But essentially, what you can do is exploit these gaps of $13 with something called an arbitrage, which is basically going to the lower price supermarket and selling it to the higher price. But this is more just to show how you can grab the APIs and then make decisions and build logic. And obviously, typically what I do is I set a threshold between uh, this. If the exchange delta is not a certain amount, I say don't send the Slack message. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do like that. So this is just an example of how you can grab the data and then use Python in order to implement it into like a messaging app, or you can put it towards a database, something like that. So yeah, I hope you found it useful, and let me know any thoughts. Thanks.